All right, Jax, look, you need to call me, okay? Call me to come around the front. All right, go ahead.
Hey, call me.
Call me, no. You need to call my name, Daddy.
Daddy, call
Okay,
me.
hang on. Let's start over. Okay.
Daddy, call me.
No, not Daddy, call me. You just need to say, hey, Daddy. Kind of like you're calling me. Kind of like you're trying to get my attention, okay?
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, like that. Okay, hang on.
Hey, Daddy.
Yeah,
I think you have some packages on the front porch.
packages. All right, let's see what that is. Well, it's always cool to get packages in the mail, isn't it? Let's see what this is. Accurite soil thermometer. Let's see what this is. A luster leaf 4-way analyzer. Compact portable meter measures the essentials for vigorous growth. Soil pH, soil moisture, sunlight, combined soil NPK based off USDA standards, and hey, no batteries required. Let's see what this one is. It always helps to have a good sharp knife in your pocket. This is the Rapid Test luster leaf digital 3-way analyzer. Huh. Who the heck sent me all this crap? Let's see what's in this box right here. This is another soil test kit. What in the world is up with all this soil test stuff? Let's see what this is. Look at here. That's more my speed. Look at there. That's a probe you use to pull plugs of dirt out of the ground. And here is a soil sample bag. And this is interesting, a plant tissue sample bag. I wonder what that thing's for. Plant tissue sample bag. All this soil test stuff. Rapimeter, thermometer. I tell you, this gives me a really, really good idea. Come on, go with me. Where are they at? Batman! I know I'm getting close. I can smell it. Oh, there we go. 40 test. Grasses and lawns. Test your soil for a healthy garden. pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. This'll work. Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I know it's down here somewhere. There it is. All right, there we go. That's 6 of them. That one's got a hole in it. I wonder if I can get that one for half price. Hey, it's Pete, GCI Turf, and man, I know by the first part of that video, you're probably saying, hey man, this joker's gonna pound Milo and talk all this trash about it. Well, you're wrong. I'm not gonna do that. I don't roll like that. But what we are gonna do is this. We're gonna do a little testing. Right here on this test plot. We're gonna use the test plot and we're gonna do half of it Milo, half of it Academy Fert. Now, I know you're asking, well, why in the world are you doing that? All right, so the whole reason I started GCI Turf Academy was to be able to offer the DIY guy these professional grade products so that you can take them, apply them to your yard, and I was gonna teach you how to do that. Well, what you guys have done is taught me some things. Because now you remember in my videos, I talk about this all the time. The way I learn is I listen. That's a good way to learn, is you just simply listen to what people tell you. And I'm learning all kind of things about these DIY soil tests and DIY fertilizer like Milorganite. And to be honest, I've never used any of it ever before. I know nothing about it. So I'm gonna teach myself, and I'm gonna teach myself on this spot of grass what it's all about. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna give you my opinion on it and let you know whether I think it works or not. Now you gotta remember, this is my opinion and you can have your own. So I don't want you to dare think I'm beating up any products here, because like I said, I don't roll like that. If the Milo works for you, you keep right on using it, because hey, at the end of the day, if it's providing you that nice yard you want, why the heck switch? But for my peace of mind, I just got to know. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get a square footage. Now I already know what this square footage is, but I'm gonna retake it for the video purpose so that you know how much square footage this is. And we're gonna block this thing off into 2 sections. So for those of you that don't know, the way you figure out a square footage is it is simply length times width. 110 times 83. 9,130 square feet. Now we're going to call that 9,000 square feet. So what I have to do now is I have to break this up into 2 sections. So 2 divided by 9,000 is 4,500. So we're going to have a 4,500 square foot section here, and we're going to have a 4,500 square foot section here. And we're going to do this program. We're going to do the Academy program over here, and we're going to do the Milorganite program over here, and we're going to see the difference in the 2. And not only are we going to look for visual difference, we're going to do some soil testing too. See, that's where I want to really know. I'm not just going to go by what this thing looks like. I want to know actual data from a real deal soil testing lab. Now, something else we're going to do is we're going to take soil tests with some of these DIY soil testing kits on both sides, and we're going to compare what they say versus what a commercial lab that actually processes soil testing and all that kind of thing. We're going to see the difference on paper, how that relates to this section of turf and this section of turf. Hey, you know me. You can't just say, hey, Pete, try this out. It'll work. See, I don't go for that crap. You got to show me. You know, you may have picked up on this already, but there's not a lot of gray area with me, in my life, or in my lawn care business, or any of that. I'm more of a black and white guy. It either is or it ain't. So I got to prove it to myself that either Milo or Academy fertilizer is better. Or hey, I may even get the shock of a lifetime. I'm gonna do this so everybody can see with no cheating allowed. And I'm gonna prove it to myself which one produces a better end result for the turf. You can tell we've had some snow lately. Look how the snow packs that turf down right there. All right, now first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take a reading from this thing. We're gonna take a fertility reading, a light, well, no, we don't need a light. We know the sun's out. Moisture really doesn't matter right here. pH and fertility. And we're gonna stick this thing in the ground and we're gonna check it out, see what it says. Well, the instruction says to leave that in the ground for a little bit, for about a minute or so, so it gets an accurate reading. So here's the digital one, and we're supposed to turn the power on. Then we're gonna go down to pH, and we're gonna check it right beside it. Go down in the ground like so. It says around 5 inches. And we're gonna give that a minute and let that take a reading. All right, something else we're gonna do is we're gonna take what I consider a real deal soil test. We're gonna walk around and remove cores of dirt. We're probably gonna get about 10 on the Milo side and 10 on the Academy side. All right, there's your Milo. There's your Academy. All right, so in case you're wondering why are we testing it before, don't we want to know what happens after you put the fertilizer down? Well, yeah, we're going to do a test before on both plots to get a good baseline to make sure that we're starting off fairly equal. And then we're going to do a test after, maybe 3 or 4 weeks from now. Let it rain a couple times. Let it get the both fertilizers activated well inside the plant, working good. Then we'll do a second test and compare the two. Okay, so back to our, what do you want to call this? The mechanical soil tester maybe, because it's no electricity, and I don't know what you call it. This one, let's call it this one, the 4-way analyzer. It's showing a pH right about 7. All right, and let's click it up to the fertility. And the fertilizer is about in the middle of the green right there, which says little. Let's look here and compare it with the pH of here. It's reading a 7 as well. Fertility is reading a 1. So we'll have to go back and look at, I'm guessing 1 is low. I'll have to go back and read the book and see what it is. Now this is on the Milo side before the Milo application. Now I'm gonna be taking notes on this. You can take them as well. Let's go over here and test the Academy side. Focus. Yes. Okay, so now we're over here on the Academy side of things, and you can see the pH is slightly below 7. Huh. And we only moved about, I'm gonna guess that's about 25 feet. We didn't move that far. And look at the difference in pH in what this particular meter is showing. So we're gonna call that about, it's not quite 6.5. I'm gonna call that about 6.8. And let's check the fertility on it. Fertility is reading about in the same spot. Let's go back to this one. Well, look at there. Well, I can say that these two are pretty much accurate between each other. 6.8 pH, and a 1 in fertility. All right, so I've got this documented. The Academy, the mechanical device was saying 6.8 and low fert. The digital 6.8 pH and a 1 on the fert. And over here with the Milo, which we're only 25 feet apart on this, okay? You got to remember that, because I'm getting ready to make a point right here that I've already thought of. Your pH is 7, and the fert is low, pH 7. Now, one thing I have found out that just off these two measurements, these two guys are pretty consistent with each other. Now, let's say if I wanted to test the entire yard. Now, our baseline is going to be this, what I'm calling a real deal soil test, where we send the samples off to the lab. We're going to compare those readings against these readings, both before and after the fertilizer application. Now, one thing I see with this is you can only test one spot at a time in the yard, but you can walk around the yard and stick these probes in multiple areas and then get an average of what it tells you. Now, the other soil test I have is that Soil Savvy brand, and that is more like a traditional soil test, from what I understand. You basically go pick a spot in the yard, you collect the sample of dirt, you put it in this little container, and we're gonna do all that in a minute. And the reason I'm not showing that on camera is I'm just gonna take one of these plugs and use that. We'll take one from here, one from here. We're gonna do 2 tests, one for each one, using that same Soil Savvy. Now, right off the bat, and again, you gotta remember, I'm not knocking any of this. I'm learning myself. I'm just showing you the process of me learning. One problem I have with that Soil Savvy is it tells you to test here, or pick a spot and test. Well, I just showed you from here to there, my pH is different. So what I'm getting at is you're only testing one very teeny tiny portion of the entire yard, okay? Now, it's been my experience when we do soil testing at the commercial level, the pro level, whatever you want to call it, we soil test the entire area because we want an overview of the entire yard, not just that one little spot. All right, so here's my Academy Fert, and good stuff right here. All right, so here's Mr. Milo, and again, not dogging this stuff at all. Please do not think I am. Realistically, I have bought 3 bags of this in 15 years. I bought my first bag last fall, which you guys saw that video, and this is the second and third bag I've ever bought of this. So according to the label, 1 bag covers 2,500 square feet. So this is 2 bags, which will put us at 5,000 square feet. The test plot is 4,500, so we're just gonna go with it, okay? It'll be a little overdosed, but that's fine. The Academy fertilizer, 1 bag covers 6,000 square feet. Okay, now I did take some out of that to make it even out to 5,000 square foot. So we're putting out the same amount of product of Milorganite to cover 5,000 square feet, and the same amount of product for Academy fertilizer to cover 5,000 square feet. Now, remember, these are only 4,500 square foot test plots, but to keep the test even, I'm just going to call it 5,000. Now, another cool test I've got in store, and again, this is just we're going to find out some cool information here. I've got to measure this spot out. Our Academy and Milo line comes right down through here, like so. And from here over, we're going to bust this up into 2 sections. We're gonna do an all liquid diet on this section over here throughout the entire year. RGS, the micros, humic 12, you name it. Natural adjuvant, liquid nitrogen. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bust this up into 2 sections, and we're gonna spray half of it with liquid nitrogen and half of it with liquid nitrogen and natural adjuvant. And we're gonna do a plant tissue test, and we're gonna find out just how much more nitrogen gets inside the plant when you use natural adjuvant. So that video is coming up real soon. All right, so a little break from soil testing. Jax, what are you gonna do here?
I'll be doing breaking ankles when they make a layup today. And please subscribe and hope you like it. Tonight of Tar Heels versus Loyola Chicago.
Loyola Chicago versus Tar Heels breaking ankles. Come on, Tar Heel.
Tar Heels. Tar Heels.
Come on, Tar Heel, make it.
3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Woo! Tar Heels win.
Tars won
Yeah, maybe.
82 to 109.
Yeah, maybe next year.